But Dea, what should I do as a freelancer? What services should I make money with? I have no experience doing anything, or I have too many ideas. I can't decide what to offer as a freelancer. What will clients really pay for? Yep, once upon a time back in 2016, I was exactly there as well. No idea what to do, no work experience, totally and 100% clueless. And now almost 6 years later, I am full of clues and about 80% less clueless than I used to be. So fret not, you are in good hands. In this video, let's get clear on how to figure out what freelance services you can get paid to do using a 4-step process and my D.I.P formula. Hey, it's Dea, freelancer, digital business manager, most recently entrepreneur. And as always, you can find sections on the play bar below. If you want to skip to a certain part of the video, your time is precious, so take what you need. And if you want to watch this on 2x, please feel free to do so. Okay, let's dive in. This is a non-negotiable step 1. Before we dive into the process of figuring out what services you're going to offer, I want you to really check yourself and your internal thought process before you quite literally wreck yourself. My mindset coach gave me some advice a while ago, and she basically said you have to be very careful with the questions that you ask your brain, because your brain is an insanely good problem solver and it can answer your questions super well. So if you ask your brain, what can't I do? What don't I know how to do? Your brain will come up with 1,001 things you can't do and that you truly suck at. However, if you ask it, what can I do or what can I learn to do? Your brain will similarly come up with 1,001 things you can or can learn to do. So watch what questions you ask your brain to solve. And the truth is you're smart. You can learn. You can figure things out if you give yourself the chance to. And keep in mind, there was a time when you didn't know how to walk, how to talk, how to make the perfect matcha. And now you can do all of those things and so many more things. So don't feed yourself the false narrative that you don't know anything or that you aren't capable of learning anything. I don't want us to start there because it'll make everything else more difficult. All right, now that pep talk that nobody asked for is finished, here's how to figure out what to offer as a freelancer. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. We're going to start out by making a full list of everything you're able to offer or remotely interested in learning to offer. We want to write down everything that occurs to us here. No editing, no filtering, no overthinking. Do not limit yourself here. We want a full brain dump. We don't need to be removing any ideas from the list. We will filter the list down in step 2. So grab a piece of pen and paper, or if you're fancy, you can open up a notes doc or something digital and begin dumping out everything you know you're able to do. And here are a few categories of inspiration for making your list, and I will make the list alongside with you as the 2016 version of Dea as an example. So category 1, things I have work experience in. English tutoring and teaching English to kids in Asia. Another category, things people ask me for help with. Organizing, planning, holding them accountable, cheering them up and being encouraging. Another category, things I learned in school. Finance, economics, marketing principles, typing really fast. Another category, things I learned from mentors or role models. How to be a good leader. What good managers look like. How good managers lead their teams. Mandarin and German. All things I learned from my parents. Another category, things you've learned on your own time. Books, courses, videos, things that you've been personally interested in. So some books that I've loved: Crucial Conversations, Effective Executive, 7 Habits. I've taken Photoshop classes. Another category are your wonderful soft skills. Figuring things out via Google. Good team leader, good at explaining things, or tries her best at explaining things. Tries to make everyone feel comfortable and included. Empathetic. Another category, things I would be curious about learning to do. Sales copywriting, voiceovers. Another category, things I love doing that I don't get paid to do, aka potentially your hobbies. Run a blog. Project plan and create travel itineraries, way too detailed for all of my friends when we take vacation. Graphic design and photoshopping things, photography and videography, puzzling in escape rooms, petting cats. That is, for example, what you can dump out based on the categories given and really take some time. I've just kind of gone through it really fast, which is why my categories aren't fully fleshed out, but you can take the time, you can sit down 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you might keep it open and you might have to add to it over the coming few days as things pop up to you, but eventually that is what your mega list should ideally look like. You should have at least 20 things listed, and if you do not, go back and try again. Ask your friends, your family, your cat. I promise you can come up with at least 20 things, okay? And these do not have to be ultra expert, ultra cool things. They can just be things you know how to do or things that you like to do. Those are good enough things. All right, now that we have a ton of potential services we can offer, it is a lot. It's too much, right? So we have to narrow it down by applying the D.I.P formula. So what is D.I.P? The D stands for distinctive, aka how distinct is the skill to you? Is this a skill very unique to you, or can lots of people do it? Can anyone do it? How strong is your competitive advantage for this service? You may want to consider anything you uniquely bring to the table to make this more distinct to you, like your education, your experience, your eagerness to learn, your ability to figure things out, that kind of stuff. Essentially, you want to think, what sets me apart from others offering this service? How can I offer it better than they can? And do you uniquely and distinctively bring something to the table when it comes to this service? The I stands for interest, and this is, you guessed it, all about your interest level in offering this service. Is it interesting to you? Does it sound fun? Does it tickle your fancy one way or another? If not, it's probably not going to be very sustainable long-term of a service for you. So this is something we definitely want to keep in mind in this process as well, because what we enjoy doing, we can do for much longer than, things we don't enjoy doing. Finally, the P stands for profitability, and two things to consider here are: one, how profitable is this task or service itself, aka can and will this service actually generate profit? A lot of profit or a little profit? Like petting a cat may be something I'm exceptionally good at, but will it generate profit? I am not sure. Maybe you know how to project plan really well or manage teams. Those are very profitable services. I speak from experience from my role as a freelance digital business manager. So the second cue to ask here is, how in demand is the service in general? Are clients lining up for the service? Do they need it urgently? How desperately does the market need help with this? And if you're just getting started, your service offering possibilities may not be super profitable yet. That's okay. The point in the beginning is just to get started with something remotely stable, remotely viable, and as you continue on, you'll identify things that you can learn to increase your profitability as a freelancer. So don't worry too much about profitability in the beginning. So we're going to score all the things we listed out, that full list of services in step 2 with D.I.P. We're going to rank each of these services with a 1 to 5 for D, 1 to 5 for I, 1 to 5 for P. 5 being the most and 1 being the least. Very intuitive. So ideally you draw a table that looks a little like this, or pull open an Excel sheet, a Notion sheet, a Google sheet, something sheet. And yeah, I'll link a Google Sheet template below that you can use to make your life easier, breezier, and more beautiful. Now, the big note here, if you don't really know how distinctive a service is to you or how profitable it could be, 2 quick things. 1, do some research. 2, guess. Nobody can predict it perfectly, otherwise we'd all be millionaires doing exactly what is most optimized to make tons of money and make us happy. But that's not reality. In reality, that path is not linear. We have to try lots of things. We have to experiment. We have to move forward even when we don't have full clarity. So do your best guess, and you can always come back and reevaluate your D.I.P calculation in the future with more information, or let us know in the comments and we can maybe try to help you. So I'll go ahead and do my grading as an example. So for example, things I've work experience in: English tutoring, teaching English to kids in Asia. Distinctive, maybe 3, because I speak Mandarin, which helps. Interest, maybe 2, and profitability, maybe 3. Things people ask me for help with: organizing and planning, D3, I5, P4. Holding them accountable, D2, I4, P2. So on and so forth. You want to score everything, because if the service is not in demand, if we're not interested, if it's not profitable, we dip. Get it? The dip formula? Anyway, I was really proud of myself when I came up with that. Okay, now that we have the individual scores all done for each service, we want to apply the DIP formula. The DIP formula is D plus I times P. So you'll add up the first 2 and multiply it by P. Your life will be a lot easier if you just use the sheet I linked below and just have it auto-calculate this formula. It's not a complicated formula, but it'll just be easier. And you'll want to sort the whole list of services now by the total sum. So the things that have the highest D.I.P calculation are at the top, and so on and so forth. And now you have your priority list for services from most important to try first to least important. Now the behind the scenes fun fact is I originally made the formula D plus I plus P, but then I realized the fatal flaw. I had this vision of someone in the comments being like, Medea, I'm the only distinct person in the world who can sing Bohemian Rhapsody backwards while jump roping, and I'm super interested in offering this as a service, but why is this not selling? It's because the market doesn't need it. Yeah, that's why I had to make it multiply the P, because the market dictates at the end of the day what will sell or not. So if the market does not want this service and you score a 0 for P, then do not offer it. The market has to want what you are offering at the end of the day. No matter how good we are at something, no matter how interested we are, if the market won't pay money for it, we don't want to spend time on it. Now here's a secret advanced step 3A tip. A cool thing you can potentially do is look for ways to combine some of your top scoring services, because that will make it even more unique and distinct to you, because not many people have your unique complex layers, and when you layer everything, it's harder for somebody to compete with that. So for example, for me, I could find ways to combine my interest in crucial conversations, communication, with being a good team leader, liking to keep people accountable, organizing, planning, travel itineraries, figuring things out, and empathy into this beautiful package of, like, you guessed it, my role as a digital business manager, which is, what I did as a freelancer for years. And of course, hindsight is 2020, because it was not clear at all to me what I should be doing or how to combine my interests and skills when I first began. So that's just a fun thing to consider, is as you're moving forward, as you're getting to know these services, as you're starting to try them out, how might you be able to combine different service ideas, soft skills, and interests into a magical thing that only you can do? Now, the most important step is step 4. My best recommendation is to take the top things you scored highest for and begin beta testing those services as a freelancer. And to answer a few questions that I'm sure are popping up. No, you don't need a perfect niche before you begin. No, you don't need a perfectly crafted website that showcases all your potential skills before you begin. No, you don't need to know what you're going to be doing in 6 months as a freelancer before you begin. It is not going to be perfect when you start. Stop expecting yourself to know all the answers before you begin. Just start. Take that first step. Don't look at the whole staircase. Just take that first step, beta test, tweak, learn, and develop those skills slowly. And I promise it will unravel naturally as you go along, as it did for me. I was clueless in 2016. Clueless. And now, like I said, full of clues. And if you want to share, let us know your top 3 results from using the D.I.P formula below. I want to know, because I'm nosy. And now that you know what services to offer, I will bet you want to know where to find and land your first freelance client. So click here to watch this video next, where I go through 6 ways to land your first freelance client. So fun. It'll be a hoot. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!